guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm super excited for today's video because I'm going to be reviewing slash trying out a very highly anticipated product that recently came out. I want to say maybe last week, and I was able to get my hands on it before it sold out. So at the moment it is still sold out, but I know that it's probably going to be back in stock very soon. And it is the Kylie Jenner Valentine's Day palette. So this is actually the cardboard packaging that it comes in, which I think is super cute, and I wish the palette would have looked like this because I think this is actually really adorable. It has these little bralettes that have glitter on them, as well as other bralettes that don't, and then it has the Kylie written in metallic. But this is what the actual palette looks like. So this palette retails for $45. It is their second Valentine's Day palette. The first one was that journal one that came out like maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I think it was when the brand was pretty new, and I like this palette because it feels nice and sturdy. It has a really big mirror. This is what the eyeshadow palette looks like. So I said this in my last video, I think, with the purple eyeshadow palette from ColourPop, that I'm not a really big fan of the color pink per se. This is like probably the only pink item that I own, and it's really more mauve more than pink. But other than that, I really don't own any pink. But when it comes to makeup, I just have a thing for pink makeup. I think that it looks really good on my skin tone. I really like how it looks on other people too. So when I saw this palette, how could I resist it? Like, it was just absolutely stunning. And I did watch a few reviews on it while I was waiting for it to come in, just to see what people's thoughts are. None of those thoughts ever make me question what I think about this eyeshadow palette. If anything, I want to see if they were right about it or if they were wrong about it. The top half is all shimmers and the bottom halves are all matte. And one thing that I heard about this eyeshadow palette in particular is that the top eyeshadows, the shimmers, were not the best. And when I saw Kylie talking about the shimmers, and she was talking about how they're not as metallic as her regular shimmers, that this formula is more of an iridescent type of color. So you could either use it with a brush, wet it, and get it really nice and pigmented, or you can use it on top of color. So it's almost like a wash of shimmer. So it's very subtle. It's not super intense like her other shimmers, but they're still absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to swatch them right here on the back of my hand. I'm not the best at swatching, but I'm gonna do it just for you guys because I love you guys. The first shade is Heartthrob, which is a really pretty vanilla white shimmer color. The second color is called Blush, which is barely showing up on my finger, but that doesn't matter. So this one is more of a beigey nude shimmer. The next color is called Be Mine, which is a really pretty duochrome pinky peach with a little bit of a gold undertone to it. I don't know if you can really see the gold in it. The next color is called Romance, which is a really pretty light pink lavender. The next color is called Kinda Classy, which is a really pretty iridescent gold. Then the last shimmer is called Love Bug, which is such a pretty color. In the pan, it looks like it is red, like a reddish purple, but then when you swatch it on the finger, it looks kind of gold. So it kind of has all three kind of mixed in there. Then for the mattes, we have the first matte, which is called Princess, which is a nude. Then we have Pink Problems, which is a brown light pink. Then we have February, which is a light baby pink. Then we have Candy Heart, which is a very vibrant hot pink. Then we have First Date, which is a matte Fire Engine Red. And then the last color is called Admirer, which is a brownie purple color. Those are the swatches of all the eyeshadows. So you can definitely tell that the iridescents aren't that pigmented, but I am going to use them with a brush and we'll see. Of course, Swatches doesn't tell you anything, it just shows you what it looks like, but when you apply it on the eyes, it can be totally different. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom you guys in a little closer so that way you get up close with the nitty gritty. Alrighty, so now that we're up close and personal, we're gonna start off with the eyeshadow palette. So I am going to do something, but I don't know what. So I don't really know what I'm gonna do, so we're just gonna go with the flow here. We're gonna start off with the shade Pink Problems right here, and I'm gonna take that on a JH30 brush and just apply that into the crease. And this is going to be our transition shade. So far this eyeshadow, it is a little bit dusty in the pan, but I don't really care about that. I know some people do, but the Modern Renaissance palettes are just as bad. And this is just one tap into the palette. All right, and then I'm going to use a little bit of February just to make it a little pinkier. And I'm taking this on a JH32 brush, which is a longer, pointier brush. And I want to kind of wing it out a little bit. And there's no fallout on my eyes at all, only in the palette itself. All right, so then we're gonna deepen things up a bit, and we're gonna take this Morphe pointed taper brush, and I'm gonna take some of that Candy Heart shade, and I'm gonna apply that, take one tap of it, and start building that up in the crease as well. This is definitely very, very pigmented. It is not patchy at all, which I'm shocked because usually shades like this are very, very patchy. And then we're going to deepen things up just a little bit more with a little bit of First Date and just keep that low in the crease. And as I'm applying this, I don't feel like it's as red as it looks. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of pack it in and then blend. Still feel that it's pulling more pink than red though. We'll do the same thing on the other side where we wiped it first, then we pressed it in the crease, and then wiped it again. Then I'll go back in with that pointed brush from the Jaclyn Hill collection. And then to really start deepening things up, I'm going to take a little bit of Admirer. I'm going to take that on JH40 brush. And I'm just going to apply that in the crease as well. But very nice and low, and keep it just in that crease area. And if you ever have a hard time finding your crease, just take the brush, press down, and wherever the eye folds, that's where your crease is. It's like the top part of your eyeball, basically. And we're going to mostly focus this on the crease. I'm going to put it on my outer corner in a second. I just want to get this color built up. And I'm going back in with this brush from earlier. There's no extra product in it. I'm just going to blend all the edges. So then I'm going to use some of my ColourPop No Filter Concealer, and this is in the shade Fair 00. And we're just going to take that on an Alamar Ojitos brush. And this one does not have a name. And we're going to go ahead and carve out our crease. So what I'm going to do is press that there, open my eye like this, and then that kind of gives me a guide to where to cut my crease. And once we get it carved out in the crease, or on the crease, then I'm just going to apply that white on the rest of the eyelid and just kind of sharpen things up a bit. Alrighty, so I'm going to quickly go ahead and carve out my other crease, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, then we're going to go back in with the JH40 brush, and I'm going to take some of that Admirer shade, which was the brown, and I'm going to apply that onto the outer corner of the eye and kind of blend that into the crease. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of packing it in place first to build up the intensity, and then I'm going to go ahead and buff it out. Then I'm going to take a little bit of Princess, and I'm just going to take that on this Sonia Kashuk brush, and I'm going to apply that onto my brow bone. And I'm also going to use it just to make sure that that crease is blended in nicely. So then I'm going to take a little bit of Love Bug on this JH41 brush, which is one of my favorite flat shader brushes. It's always the brush that I use in all of my videos lately, and I cannot ever remember the name of it. But anyway, I'm going to take a little bit of some of this Tarte Rainforest of the Sea spray. You can use any spray really. You put the eyeshadow on the brush first, and then spray it on the brush, the product that's on the brush, I mean. And I'm just going to apply that onto the center of the eye. And doing this is really intensifying this eyeshadow. And I just want to try it without having that brush be wet on the center of the eye so that you guys can see the difference. Yeah, it's definitely a lot more intense on this eye. I feel like you can see it. It's a lot more intense on this eye, like just shimmer wise, than on this eye. So I'm gonna grab a little bit more of that eyeshadow and wet it on the brush. And just put that on top. Yeah, there we go. Makes everything nice and metallic. Then I'm gonna use a smaller brush. So this is from Bogeshi. This is the eyeshadow brush from them. And I'm gonna take a little bit of Be Mine, which is that really pretty pinky peach shade. And we're gonna wet that brush too, just because I'm already seeing that these eyeshadows need to be wet if you want them to be intense at all. Oh yeah. I think I made the brush a little too wet because it is looking kind of funky on this concealer. Because on this side it looks a lot better. Then I'm just gonna make sure that this blends in. So this brush is clean, and I'm just gonna go in where those two colors meet and blending it outwards. Let's make sure there's no harsh lines. So far so good. I'm gonna go ahead and quickly put on my eyeliner and finish the rest of my face makeup, and then we'll finish the rest of the eye. Alright, so we got our highlight on. For my highlighter, I am using the Laura Geller Baked Gelato Swirl Illuminator in the shade Diamond Dust, and this is a little baby size, but it looks white, but in person it is actually like a really pretty pinky shade. So it's just kind of funny how like the camera can tend to make things look totally different than how they do in person, because in person this looks like I have pink highlight all over my face, which I'm living for. And then I also went ahead and used some of my ColourPop Notion Ultra Matte lipstick, which I don't know if this is available still, but I used that as my eyeliner today because since it's like a Valentine's palette, I thought it'd be fun to do like a nice eyeliner. Literally all I did was just take an angled eyeliner brush and take some of that gel liner and just applied it as if I was applying gel liner, or some of that liquid lipstick and applied it as if I was applying gel liner. So we're gonna go ahead and finish off the eyes. So I'm gonna go ahead and use Honor. So it's like a purpley brownie shade, which I thought would go good with this eye look because of the crease shade. And then these are my two favorite brushes to apply my lower lash line. This is the JH43 and the JH39. So I'm going to take some of that Admirer shade first with the JH43 brush. And I'm just going to go ahead and apply that onto my lower lash line. And then I'm going to take the JH39 brush and a little bit of February. And I'm going to use that just to blend out my lower lash line. And I really like these two because I feel like I can get my lower lash line to look nice and smoky. And then I'm just going to take a tiny bit of Candy Heart and put that right on top just to keep that pinkiness in there. And when I take this off, it might look like I have pink eye, but whatever. And then for my inner corner, I'm going to go ahead and take the JH42 brush, and I'm going to take some of that Romance shade. And I'm just gonna go ahead and wet that as well. Whew. And then just because I feel like being extra today, I'm gonna take a little tiny bit of blush and Heartthrob and apply that onto the top point of my eyebrow just to see what happens. Ooh. So then before I give my final thoughts, I did want to use this on camera. So I ended up also grabbing the Kylie lip kit in the shade Kylie. So this is the official Kylie lip set is what it's called. The lip liner is darker than the actual lipstick itself. So we're going to go ahead and apply that. I really love her lip liners. I think they're so creamy and so nice, and they don't feel like drying at all. So then I'm going to use the lipstick. I just feel like it is perfect for this look since it's like a pinky nude. Then I'm going to take a little bit of the Literally gloss and just put that on the very center of the lips just to make the lips look a little more pouty. I really like this lip color, by the way. Then I'm going to use some of that Rainforest of the Sea spray just to melt my makeup. And then I'm going to go ahead and put on some mascara. I didn't forget. I just wanted to put my lips on camera, and then I'll be right back. All right, we're back. This is the finished look. So I decided not to put on lashes just because, one, I'm going to take this makeup off like after I take my pictures, and also because I wanted to really keep the eye area nice and clean so that way you guys can really see everything that I'm gonna say about this eyeshadow palette. So I think that if you are a person who loves pink eyeshadow looks, you guys need to grab this eyeshadow palette, because this is probably one of the best pink eyeshadow palettes that I've ever used. The mattes in this eyeshadow palette are unreal. Like, I feel like, I don't know if you can really see it, but it's just blended to like perfection. The only color that I really had an issue with in the mattes was this Admirer shade, because it wasn't as dark as I wanted it to be, so I really had to build it up, especially in the outer corner. But on top of other colors, I feel like it builds up really nicely. It's just on its own, it doesn't really build up as well. And then this shade here, if you are my skin color or darker, it is not going to work as a transition shade. That's going to be a brow bone shade for you, honey. It's not a highlighting brow bone shade for me, but it does help to kind of blend everything, which is really nice. And honestly, I did not try all the shimmers like I wanted to. I feel like I tried out almost every single color except for really these two, which are more of the goldy shades, even though I did mix a little bit of this one on my brow bone, but you can't really see it that much. I feel like you can see more of that hot heartthrob. But the shimmers did work really well. I do recommend wetting your brush though first if you are going to use the shimmers in this, because they're not super pigmented until you actually use some kind of mixing fluid, whether if it's your setting spray, if it's your makeup mist, your face mist, plain old water in a bottle, whatever it is. You just need to make sure that the eyeshadows are wet. So I feel like that's how they perform best. I am really loving this eyeshadow look so much. I really like this eyeshadow palette too. I think that it is totally worth the price. If you are a neutral lover though, I wouldn't recommend really getting this eyeshadow palette, because honestly, I mean, if you cover this up, yeah, you could use the other ones to like give yourself a nice little wash of like some kind of pinky or something like that. But honestly, you don't have too much going on without these two. I do wish that they would have taken the princess shade out and maybe put some kind of like mid-tone between these light shades here and this deeper shade here. Just because someone like me personally, that's a little bit deeper in color, I can't really do much without this. You know, like it's just gonna be something light and soft. But I feel like that's kind of what this palette is all about. It's not like super duper glam, but it is a super pretty eyeshadow palette. I am really obsessed with it, honestly. I think this is going to be something that I'm going to reach for a lot. I wouldn't say that it would be something that I would travel with per se, just because of the color scheme. Maybe if like I'm doing a pink look, I would probably grab this palette, but like I don't think that it would replace like my Huda Beauty New Nude. This is what the Huda Beauty palette looks like, and this is what the Kylie Jenner palette looks like. You can even tell, like just side by side, that this one has more of those mid-tones that I'm talking about, and it even has deeper shades in here too. Of course, the shimmers in this are unreal. There's nothing quite like the shimmers of the Huda Beauty New Nude. But I kind of feel like this palette does remind me a lot of the Kylie Rosé All Day palette, which looks like this. So as you guys can see, I feel like they are very comparable to one another. And this is like half of the price too. This is $22 and this is $45. So I definitely do think that these two are kind of comparable. But even this eyeshadow palette has like that dark shade down there, but then it has some mid-tones too. Like it has this shade right here that's a good mid-tone. So something like this, if this eyeshadow palette would have had some kind of shade like this, I think it would have been very workable or doable for someone who's more of a neutral lover. And I'm just gonna show you guys too, just quality wise. So this is the Rosé All Day Friday, or Fun Day, I'm sorry. And then this is the Candy Heart with a K. So you guys can see that they are very bold. Right there is this is the Carity one, and this is the Kylie Jenner one. So if you guys are interested in getting Kylie one, but since it's out of stock, you're not able to get it, or just want to find something that's a little bit more affordable, I think that Rosé All Day will give you very similar look to this kind of look, or just these kind of eyeshadows in general. That is all for this video. I definitely think that this palette is a lot better than people are saying that it is. I think that these mattes are beautifully made, because it's really hard to get reds and pinks to come out or to turn out not blotchy, and I feel like she did an amazing job with this eyeshadow palette. I know that a lot of people are saying that if the shimmers were more pigmented, that this would have been their favorite eyeshadow palette that she's ever come out with, but I think that it was one of the best eyeshadow palettes that she came out with. Personally, I have the Sippin' Pretty eyeshadow palette, which is her birthday one, and that eyeshadow palette, although it is stunning, I don't like how those eyeshadows apply on my eyes. I think the mattes are not the best quality, to be really honest. The shimmers are pretty good, but the mattes are just really blotchy and kind of like blend into one another. While I feel like this one, even though I have like, I feel like you can really see the transition between all the eyeshadows. Like, it's not just like one muddy mess on my eyelids. So I really do like that a lot. So anyways, that is all. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Let me know if you guys were able to pick up this eyeshadow palette, or if you guys are thinking about picking it up when it restocks. Definitely make sure you guys follow her, the Kylie Cosmetics Instagram page, because I'm sure that they're going to post when they're going to restock that. And I think you can also sign up for an email too on the website, if I'm not mistaken. So anyways, that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then.